Hi everybody. Today we're going to be talking about how humans and plants have interacted. One of the biggest interactions between humans and plants has been agriculture. Even though humans have been on this planet in some way, shape, or form for about 2 million years, we've only been farming for the last 10,000 years. But in those 10,000 years, we domesticated plants. That means we changed them over time to better fit our needs. Right? If you look at the most important crops that are grown around the world, like more corn than anything else is grown around the world, right? And we think of corn as like these big giant ears, filled with tons of seeds, that are very sweet, and some of them can be like processed, and some of them come in all these different colors. But corn doesn't naturally come that way. If you look at the ancestor of corn, it was more similar to like a grass, right? And we'll look at corn a little bit more later on, right? We've also changed wheat, which is the second most grown crop, right? Rice is the third most important crop. We have potatoes, and then finally like a South American root crop called cassava is the fifth most grown crop around the world. Right? All of these crops have been changed from their natural form to better fit human needs. Now, how do we do this? How do we domesticate crops, change them to fit our needs? Well, we do this process called selective breeding. And selective breeding means that the farmers are only choosing the crops that have the desired traits they want, and allowing those crops to reproduce and pass those traits on to the next generation. Now, there's two types of selective breeding. We have hybridization and then inbreeding. Right? Hybridization is like choosing two different parents, right? Parents that have different traits, and trying to cross them to get the best possible combination. Right? In inbreeding, you're trying to preserve a combination of traits in one organism. You're trying to keep, a plant the same generation after generation. The most clear example I can give you of hybridization and inbreeding, it comes not from plants but from dogs. Right? So if you ever went out and bought a purebred dog, that would be an example of inbreeding. Right? Take a pug, for example. Right? I hope everybody knows what a pug is. This is, cute little dog that has a punched-in face, and when it gets hyper, it runs around and it snorts because it can't breathe because its nose is always punched in. But pugs are always very nice. They always have like short, like tan or brown hair, right? They always have this certain set of characteristics. So if you go and you buy a purebred dog, you know what you're getting. You know you're going to get a great family dog that's always, somewhat small and cute and has that pushed-in face. You're not going to get, a great attack dog or a dog that has long fur. Okay? That's the importance of inbreeding. You know what you're getting, right? But the only way to make a pug is to have two pug parents, right? And the only way to get another pug is to breed your pug with somebody else's pug, right? So that's inbreeding. However, hybridization would be like if you took your pug and let's say that you didn't like the fact that they have all these breathing problems because their face is so pushed in. Well, you breed your pug with a dog that has, a longer snout, kind of like a beagle, right? And then you get this cross, this hybridization. A dog that's small and friendly like a pug, but has a more long snout like a beagle. Right? And that would be a puggle. A cross between the two, a hybrid dog. And you're hoping for the best possible combination of traits. So let's take a look at the pros and cons of selective breeding. Right? On the pro side, we see that farmers can save their best seeds to improve their crops. So a lot of times farmers, like if they have they grow this perfect tomato or this perfect ear of corn, they're not going to eat that vegetable. They're not going to sell it, right? They cut it open, they take the seeds out, and those are the seeds that they want to replant the next year, right? So they can improve their crops year after year. Right? They can also use self-pollination to kind of preserve crops that they have, right? So we said that the Carolina Reaper is the hottest pepper in the world. Well, if you grow Carolina Reapers only with other Carolina Reapers, Right? Then you ensure that self-pollination is going to occur, and therefore, every year, that ridiculously hot pepper stays ridiculously hot. There are some problems with selective breeding. Number one is that it can take many generations to be effective. It's a very, very slow process, right? So these are changes we made in plants over the past 10,000 years, right? It takes time for selective breeding to happen. Also, traits must already exist in the population, right? You can't introduce new traits, right? Let's say that you wanted a tomato plant that glows in the dark, right? There's no way to breed tomato plants that glow in the dark because that trait of glowing in the dark doesn't already exist in tomato plants. So you can't select for it. Alright guys, I'm going to stop right there for today's lesson. Thank you.